Well, you can see we're standing in a very small soybean field right now, and this field was corn last year. One of the things I used to hate about raising corn on corn, but we started raising a lot, we were not able to control the volunteer corn. Well, then along came Liberty Link technology with Ignite. The problem is we had to quit raising corn on this field because we couldn't find any more straight Liberty varieties. It's all combined with Roundup, and Darren, I hate it. Why do they do that?
Well, I don't really like that either, but when you look at the Liberty Link soybean varieties, they aren't stacked with Roundup technology yet. A lot of the rumor in the industry is after about 2015, there'll probably be Roundup Liberty stacked soybeans because, you know, there's a lot of Roundup resistant weeds. It gives us another option, all of those things, blah, blah, blah. Personally, I like it when we have straight Roundup and straight Liberty so we can rotate those modes of action. Like this field, for example, you can see that we've got corn stalks here and we've got new beans growing. If you've got Liberty Link soybeans, you don't have to add anything else in there to control volunteer Roundup Ready corn if it's just Roundup Ready. Now, if it's a quad stack or a smart stack, it's Roundup and Liberty resistant, and guess what? You got to throw Select Max or something in there to control it. So, I mean, there are some useful things about having different modes of action. Now, let's talk specifically about the Liberty Link technology because there have been some changes with Ignite this year that are going to help farmers control weeds even better.
Well, basically, you can use higher rates. So now, if you want to, you can use on Liberty Link soybeans up to 36 ounces of Ignite on the first application and up to 29 ounces on the second application. So that's a total of 65 ounces that you can use per season. The thing that I always like to point out to guys though is keep in mind Ignite's a great product and it'll kill almost any weed, but we want to control the weeds when they're smaller. Okay, you don't want to let those weeds get up to 2 feet tall. That's about the only time we really see complaints out of Ignite is when guys let the weeds get way too big. So look at what the label says for your particular weed, but just understand if you could control those weeds in the range of 2 to 4 inches or maybe even 2 to 6 inches tall, you're going to have a lot better success.
One of the things I think is kind of laughable, Brian, is I hear farmers say, well, you know what, that Ignite, it just isn't as strong as the Roundup because I could let the weeds get 2 feet tall and still kill them. I'm like, if you let weeds get 2 feet tall, how much yield did you lose?
Right.
You probably lost $50 an acre in yield letting those weeds get big. Even if you're spraying Roundup on Roundup Ready technology, you want to kill those weeds when they're small. So be smart when you're using Ignite.
Well, I can just tell you, we've raised a lot of Liberty corn over the years. We've raised Liberty soybeans too. There's nothing wrong with any of these products. They work great. The key thing again is to just make sure that you're controlling the weeds relatively early. You still want to use a pre-emerge herbicide, whether you're using Roundup crops, Liberty crops, or conventional crops, always use a pre-emerge product. Then you can follow with your Ignite when the weeds are relatively small. You'll do a fantastic job. So I don't know why people get so worried about, oh, I don't know if I want to go raise those Liberty beans. Liberty beans yield fine. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just an alternative technology to the Roundup. Now, the one big difference between Ignite and Roundup is Ignite is not nearly as systemic a product as Roundup. So typically, not when the beans are this small, but when the beans get bigger and the weeds get bigger, we want you to use a little higher rate of water and then also make sure that you're always throwing in ammonium sulfate, the actual ammonium sulfate. That's where you'll get the best results. So you don't have to throw in a whole bunch of other adjuvants or anything else. You probably won't need a whole lot of tank mix partners or anything. We've been spraying Ignite straight on our farm for the last couple of years in Liberty Link soybeans. It works just fine. As long as you're using higher water volume and as long as you're using straight ammonium sulfate, you should have pretty good luck. But don't forget, kill weeds when they're small.
Now, one of those weeds that is tough to control, and we'll show you the tricks, is our weed of the week. Can you identify this week's weed?